This video is a demonstration of how to edit 2020 trainings that you have imported into your iScout account. So to access those, we would go to Training, and we can go to Edit Lessons. And this is going to be our list of any lesson that we've either created or imported in. You can see I can add new and I can import from 2020, or I can edit any lesson that I've brought in. So this is just a little 3-slide sample lesson for the purposes of this video. And if I click edit, I can change the title. I can change the description. I can tag it to a training that's been assigned to employees. I can change the soundtrack. So this is where you can choose your soundtrack. If you want to sample, you can press the play button. So that's a little bit of funk. Let's see what hip hop is. Okay. So if we choose hip hop, I just click on that and it changes the music for every slide. I can add some notes here about the lesson. If I select only visible if assigned, what that essentially does is it hides it from any user unless it is assigned to them. So they would not even be able to see the lesson. If there are any lessons that you want to keep hidden, that's how you would do that. Here is where I require a passing score. So right now it's unchecked. And so if I have a 10-question quiz at the end of this lesson, they will have to get all 10 questions correct. So if they miss the first one, it will ask it again at the end. And hopefully they get it right the second time. But if I want to require a passing score, then I can check that box and it's going to give me an option of what I consider a passing score. So we can say a passing score on ladder safety is 80%. Again, that's just for the purposes of this demonstration. So then if you go down to this section, this is really where all of the editing takes place. This is really where the power of 2020 is in its editability. So I have a few different ways to view my slides. I can view them in a list. I can view them in a combination of slides and text, or I can just get an overview of all of my slides. And as I hover over them here, you can see it gives me my navigation tools above. I'm going to select kind of this hybrid version. With this version, my navigation is available here. You can see I can move slides up and down. If I select on this little More tab, I can duplicate a slide. So if I'm showing one image, but I'm going to have many bullet points on it, maybe I want to spread that over 3 slides, but I want to keep the image the same. So I could duplicate that slide a couple times. It's going to keep the image, and then I just have to go edit the text in that slide. I can add slides above or below. I can change the type of slide, which I'll get into in a little bit, or I can delete this slide entirely. With those, I am going to jump in and edit this first slide and kind of show you how this works. The type of slide is a bullet slide, so it gives me the option to edit any of the bullets. I can add a bullet here. I can rearrange the order of the bullets. I can delete a bullet if I want. I can change the name of the header that appears at the top. Under the Graphics tab, this is where I can swap out my graphic. I could get rid of the graphic. I can adjust how the graphic is going to appear in the slide. So if this is a diagram or anything that has really important information in it that you do not want cropped out, you could go to Fit, and it's going to fit the entire image in this Image Reserve section. If you want to kind of have a little bit cleaner look and the image isn't as important, if you click Fill, it's going to fill the entire area. If I wanted to delete the image and replace it with a video, I could do that here. Simply add file. I would select the video from my desktop. If it had sound, I could mute it because I wouldn't want it competing with potentially my track or the narrator. If it had sound that was important to the lesson, you could mute the soundtrack and not have narration. And on that particular slide, that's the sound that you would hear. If it's a short video, maybe a GIF, you could choose to loop it here and it would just continuously loop as the narration completes for the slide. Under narration, this is where I can control what is said over the slide. Anything that I type in this narration box is going to be read over the slide. I have the ability to change the voice here. So once I've selected my voice and I have my text here, as I'm typing, I can actually listen to the text that I've written over the narration to see how it's going to sound on the slide. So I'm going to do a sample of that here.
The objectives of this lesson are to discuss general ladder safety.
So that's where, as you're building that, you can get a sense of how it's going to sound over the slide. This requirement section is where you're going to select either a narration, or if you've uploaded a document to the slide, maybe you want to put a timer on there that you are going to want to make sure that the user is taking enough time to read the document. So you can set that for a minute, 2 minutes. You can say if it's skippable or not. And after the 2 minutes or 1 minute duration is up, you can either choose to have that slide auto advance or just stay on that current slide. Same with the narration. If I've chosen narration, I can choose whether that slide is skippable, or I can choose whether at the end of the slide it pauses and requires the user to advance it by hitting continue, or it auto advances. Auto advance is helpful if you are covering one similar topic over multiple slides. If you've got 15 bullets about ladder safety, maybe I'm going to separate that into 3 separate slides, 5 bullets a slide, and I'm going to auto advance. So as soon as it gets done with slide 1 and the 5th bullet, it's going to jump right into slide 2 and hit that 6th bullet and continue the narration. General, this is just where I can change the title of my slide, and this is where I can also, if I have a video or narration that I don't want music playing, I can customize that here, or I can even change the music on that particular slide. To get an idea of what your slide is going to look like on a phone vertically, you can select phone V, a horizontal view for phone H, back to the desktop view. So those are my options within a slide. If I wanted to add a slide, say I wanted to personalize this a little bit for my company, I could add a slide above it. And these are the options for the types of slides that you can add. I can add a video, maybe it's a welcome video, maybe it is an image, you can have just text, you can create some type of document. So if it's a PDF document that's an introduction to your company's policies before the training starts, or again, here's where you have the option of creating a bullet slide with an image or video alongside it. So I'm simply going to add an image slide. I am with company A, and I'm going to put my logo in here. And then if I want to add any type of narration, I can do that here over my logo at the beginning. And I can listen to that.
At company name, we are committed to safe work environments and safe work habits.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to not allow them to skip it, and I am going to allow it to auto advance. So that adds it there. I can move any of these around just by simply dragging. I can reorder them. And since we're talking ladder safety, maybe I want to add an image below this slide, and I'm just going to select image here. I'm going to choose an image of different types of ladders. I'm going to put that in here. I can create narration, and I can say, these are ladders. And I can listen to that.
These are ladders.
Got it right. These are ladders. And then that's that. Now the quiz slide does work a little different. If I go into edit my quiz slide, it is the entirety of the quiz in one slide. So I can write my question, I can write my answers, and then I can write the explanation of why the correct answer is correct. I can add a graphic to it, and then the narration is simply going to read the question and the possible answers. So once I'm satisfied with question 1, I can move on to question 2, and so on. To add a question, you simply get to the bottom, click Add Question. I can type in the question here. I can add my answers to it. I can explain the answer. I can add an image to it or a video. So let me go ahead and ask a question. Are ladders cool? And I can say yes. I can say no. I'm going to get rid of these 2 options. I'm going to mark yes as the correct answer. Here I'm going to explain. Yes, ladders are cool. And then I'm going to select done. And just like that, I have edited my lesson. I've added some custom features in there. I've added some slides with additional information. I've added to my quiz, and it's as simple as that. Now, on the save, if I were to select save at this point, it would take me out of the lesson and it would take me back to my list of lessons. If I hit save and stay, it does exactly that. It would save the lesson, my changes to the lesson to this point, and I would stay in the lesson. So when I select save, it takes me back to my lessons. So that's how to edit 2020 lessons. It's easy to customize the 2020 lessons to better fit your company's safety program. So if you have 2020 enabled, you now have the ability to get in there and edit any of the lessons. Super easy.